This is Coach David, and I'm super excited about the time we're going to share over the next 10 minutes because I understand how transformative they're going to be for you. My job is to give you permission to think differently and to move you further, faster toward purpose and purposeful relationships. And we're going to do just that. I want you to do something before we dive in. I want you to hit that notification bell up top so that you don't miss anything in the future, because I'm going to be flooding this channel with wisdom that's going to transform your thinking. The other thing I need you to do is treat this moment like it's a class. I want you to grab a notebook, grab your journal or your pen, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water. I want you to remove all distractions because over the next 10 minutes, we're going to do some work. All right? You ready? Let's go. Give the ladies some wisdom, some strategy that's going to help you better understand and love the men in your life. Our topic for the moment is 5 things men wished women knew and understood about their emotions. Forward. Here's number 1. The first thing that men want you to know is that when it comes to respect, a man would rather feel you respect them than to hear you tell them you love them. Man would rather feel, see, experience your respect than to hear you say, I love you. And that is because for most men, respect translates to love. So when you respect a man, it really translates to love. By the way, that word respect, when we unpack it, the word respect is comprised of 2 words. The word re means again. And the word spec is where we get our term spectacles, or spectate, it means to see. So respect means to see again. The reason why respect is so critical for men is because men often feel unseen in the earth. And so when you respect him, what he subconsciously feels is seen by you. Does that make sense to you? And when he feels seen by you, he feels loved by you, because for the most part, the world sees him, but they don't really see him. There's a deeper version of him that the world doesn't see. And for all intents and purposes, they shouldn't see, because he doesn't feel safe exposing those things to the world. And so when you have his heart and when you have seen those deeper things, man, when you respect him, it just reminds him that he's loved. So the first thing I want you to hear is that a man would much rather see you respect him than to hear that you love him. Number 2, I want you to write this down. Validation matters. While you don't know this, and while men often don't express it, validation in the heart of a man, it really matters. Even if he doesn't tell you it matters. And for most men, we don't know how to tell you that your validation matters to us. In fact, what we've learned over the years is that sometimes when we express that, you equate validation to wanting to be coddled. And it's not that we want to be coddled, we want to be validated by you. Let me tell you why. When he was an infant, he took his first steps, his mother cheered for him. And then when he went on to go to middle school, his mother cheered for him. And then when he finished middle school, went to junior high school, his mother was the loudest in the stands. Then he went to high school, got his first touchdown. She was the loudest to cheer for him. Then he graduated high school, went to college, got his degree, and man, you could hear her from the stands. And then he graduated, got his degree, got his first job. His mother was the loudest one to cheer for him. And then she released him to you. And he's always looked for the most important woman in his life to validate him. And when you don't do that, the silence is deafening. So you want to hear this. Understand that men need to be validated by the woman they love, even when we don't say it. Here's the third thing I want you to hear and understand. Silence doesn't mean disinterest. You got to hear that. When a man is silent, in most cases, he's processing what he feels. But it does not mean that he's not interested in what's going on in the relationship, what's going on in your heart, what's going on in the moment. What it means is that he has to be quiet for a moment to process what he feels. So I want you to get out of the habit of thinking that just because he's silent, that he's disinterested. Now, to the fellows who are watching this, guys, I want you to hear this. Man, when we go silent, we have a responsibility to return to the moment and to express what we have processed in our silence. You and I have a responsibility to come back and say, okay, I've thought about it. Here's what I feel. Here's what I think we should do in the moment. But ladies, you got to hear this. His silence does not mean he's disinterested. It means that he's processing. Here's number 4. Physical affection doesn't always mean sex for men. I know you think that. I know you've been trained to believe that. But the reality is that men love gentle. We love soft. We live in such a hard, harsh world. So to come home to a woman who is soft and gentle and knows how to gently rub our back or gently stroke our beard or gently rub our head, that goes a long way for a man. And it doesn't always have to equate to sex. So I want us to get out of the notion or the idea of thinking that physical affection always means sex. Men don't always want sex, and especially the older a man is, the more mature he becomes, he is now more balanced in his thinking. He's more regulated in his sexuality, and he knows how to control himself. But he also needs that touch from you. So, got to understand, number 4, physical affection doesn't always mean sex for men. The 5th thing you need to know and understand about men and their emotions, safe spaces to be vulnerable are rare but essential. Safe spaces to be vulnerable are rare, but they're very essential for men. And so when a man has found a safe place to be vulnerable, whether with his guys, whether in his hobbies, wherever it is, man, that thing is essential. That's why men often leave your house to go hang out with their friends, because him hanging out with his friends makes him better for you. It absolutely does, especially if he has mature, responsible friends. But you also have to understand that you are a safe place as well. When a man is really, really in love, and I want you to hear this, when a man is deeply loved by the woman in his life, and when he feels safe in her arms and feels safe being vulnerable with her, when he says he's going home, he's not talking about the house, he's talking about the woman. I want you to hear that. When a man is being deeply loved, when he feels valued in his home, when all of the other four things are in place, when that man goes home, he's not going to the house. Home is where she is. She's home. And that is because safe spaces to be vulnerable are essential for men. Let's recap. Number 1, I want you to hear it. He'd rather see you respect him than hear you tell him you love him. Number 2, I want you to hear it. Validation matters even if he isn't asking for it. Number 3, you got to hear this. Silence does not mean disinterest. Silence does not mean he's not interested. Number 4, physical affection doesn't always mean sex, and it doesn't always have to lead to sex. And then number 5, safe spaces to be vulnerable are rare, but absolutely essential in the hearts of men. I want you to comment below. Let me know which of these spoke loudest to you. Ladies, if you are watching this with the intent of becoming better, I want to hear from you and ask you to comment below and let me know which of these you say you need to level up on. All right? Thank you for viewing this. I want you to share this with some folks who you think need it too. I'm on a mission to help people go further, faster, as I said before, toward purpose and purposeful relationships. Now, if you are married or single and you need coaching, I have an amazing coaching community called the Collective Global Community, where I do this all day long. All I do is empower men and women to level up in their relationships. Whether you are single, I'm helping you get ready for marriage. If you are married, I'm helping you stay married because I'm sick of divorce. The Collective Global Community is a great place to do life, do community, do relationship with other men and women who are like-minded like you. It's also a great place to learn God's intent for relationships. It's a faith-based community, so we really look at the Bible and identify what does it say about singleness, what does it say about marriage, and how we are to show up for one another. All right, I want you to see the caption of this video, hit that link, come see what the Collective is about, and remember to share this with somebody who you think needs it. All right? As always, you have permission to think differently. I will see you in our next 10-minute masterclass. Let's go.